Welcome everyone to this lunchtime session. I'm not going to do a lengthy intro. I will let Baibas introduce himself and the organisation that he's talking about. Over to you, Baibas.
Thank you, Lucy. This is Baibas. I'm a co-founder at Bolt Insight. I'm currently leading the commercial function. Today, we're going to be talking mainly about Bolt Chat AI. I will be presenting, showing you a few slides that go into the capability, how it works, and a couple of the use cases as well. Before I do that, I also want to very quickly explain who we are, what we do. I'm hoping it will make a bit more sense for you as well. Although we have only recently met the ICG, we obviously have been working with consultants and individuals in the industry for the last 5 years, and I will also mention that very quickly. So I will just focus on the Bolt Chat AI, which is kind of our new tool. We only launched it about 5 months ago. And I will keep the most of the presentation focused on that. So I'm just going to share my screen and continue. Hopefully you can see it now.
Sorry about that.
Perfect. So just to quickly mention who we are, what we do. We started everything back in 2019, just before COVID. The important thing about I think the founders, the co-founders and leadership team about Bolt Insight is that we're all coming from either corporates or good agencies such as Kantar, Ipsos, Nielsen. On the corporate side, we have members joining from Unilever, Reckitt. The idea is to combine the actual needs that we have experienced through our relationship and through our work previous to Bolt, and just sort of focus on what we can solve with the technology that we have adapted. So over the last 5 years, we've grown into a total of 40 people in the team. We are currently focusing on both quantitative and qualitative, although we initially started on the quantitative side, and our new tool, Bolt Chat AI, is more focused on the qualitative side as well. The main research focus that we have in the company is going into innovation studies, media studies, more strategic work around market understanding, and we also do brand tracking studies as well. So obviously we work a lot on the ad hoc space, but we do continuous work with the trackers at the same time. Part of the unique advantage of Bolt Insight is the recruitment system, the diverse sampling methodology that we have developed. So all the systems, all the technologies that we have, we're developing them internally. And this is a system we call diverse sampling because we have access to not only all the major panel partners in the world, but we can also collect data from social media and advertising channels through mobile applications. So this gives us access to 120 countries. We actually collected data in that many countries. Also, we are continuously comparing our methodology to the panel-only solutions, and we are seeing higher engagement from the survey participants and 30% higher data quality in terms of the open-ended answers that we collect. So this gives us not just the global market reach, but also speed and advantages of data quality at the same time. A good example of this is the collaboration we have with Brand Finance. You probably know about the Global Soft Power Index that they do on an annual basis. We collect data for 42 markets, achieving a total of 40,000 surveys, and we only do this work in a matter of 7-8 weeks. They don't give us too much time to collect this data. So as a summary, we are 3 points. We do have the data collection where we almost pretend and work like your fieldwork agency. That's the area that we have been working, I would say, most frequently with the individuals and freelancers in the industry as well. We do have the ad hoc full service that we focus more on the brand side. But then recently, about 5 months ago, we launched Bolt Chat AI, which is a completely do-it-yourself product that you can set it up and launch it yourselves, which I'm going to start talking about that now. So Bolt Chat AI is a system whereby you can quickly set up a qualitative individual chat environment, and it collects and gives you the answers in 24 hours. And how it happens is you typically start by just selecting your audience. We have more than 1,000 different data points that go into selecting demographics, category, and interest details. So all you need to do is basically go through a list of, again, typically how you would work on the brief, or you must have used other agile platforms before. It's a similar environment. You just select your audience based on the criteria. And then as a next step, you need to type in a short brief to define the research objectives. And just keep in mind that there's going to be an AI moderator. So, you don't want to be too short. You want to give it some context. You want to share as much as you can. And obviously the focus areas that you want to discover and get from the consumers that are going to be participating. We have, with the participants joining the surveys, a minimum of 10 people, and you can go up to 100 in a single study. Most of the work that we have seen so far are usually with 10 or 20 participants. As a next step, once you decide on the research objective and who you want to interview, based on the objectives that you set, our system automatically, in a matter of seconds, create a set of questions, a discussion guideline. So this is what you see on the system. It comes back to you with about 20 questions. You can then go through them, edit them, change the order, change the location of the questions, and then you can suggest further questions. You can type in if you want to add other questions as well. And recently, we included a poll question type, so you can even include a multiple choice question in there at the same time. So once you're happy with the discussion guideline, all you need to do is launch it. So once you submit the project, what the system does is it reaches out the consumer profiles and the participants that you want to have in this study, automatically recruits them into our system, and then starts the conversations one by one. So if you're doing like a total of 10 or 20 participants, it starts from speaking with them individually, and this is going to happen for the participant in a chat environment, so they don't have to download anything. They're joining from their mobile devices most of the time. It opens up in a browser. They can just typically see the questions and start answering as you see on the screen. These are typically conversations happening up to 20-25 minutes. So our suggestion is to keep the questionnaire length, the discussion guideline length, about 20-25 questions. There's definitely room for prompting original questions by our AI moderator. So that is also based on the quality and the engagement level from the participants. So what's interesting at this stage is that we have a scoring system that is automatically looking at the participants' engagement levels. Obviously, this is a qualitative environment. You don't want to just get like yes or no answers. You want high quality, in-depth answers. So our system is checking that and see if the participants are actually focused and giving relevant answers as well. So the AI moderator has the flexibility and the freedom to prompt further questions if it is not fully satisfied with the quality answers that they're getting. For any reason, a participant feels bored and decides to leave, the system automatically recruits a new person. So if you select 10 participants, you always get 10 highly engaged, high quality answers from the system. And then as a next step, once all the chat conversations are completed, the AI moderator starts looking into the basically deep dive into the transcripts, and then automatically checks all the research objectives that you have, the burning question that you said, so what specifically you want to analyze within the report, and then it comes back to you within 24 hours with a report summary that you can export from the tool as a PPT format as well. Obviously, you see everything, you set it up in English, the platform is in English, but if you want to do Spanish in Spain, we have local languages, we have native languages, they're automatically translated at the questionnaire stage. And obviously, once the participants share their answers, they're automatically translated back to English for the analysis stage, for the analysis purposes as well. So I'll show you a report example now. It typically starts with an AI summary. So based on the questions, based on the objectives, it summarizes the whole research for you. So this was focused on understanding commercial influence and brand perception on Christmas adverts. So this is a study we did on the 4th of December. So just about maybe 6-7 weeks ago. The location we selected was the US. The category was shopping and retail. Age, we have participants from 18 to 75. So we wanted to understand the participants' perception for two different sets of ads. One was from the Coca-Cola, and the second one was from Amazon. You can also upload stimulus, you can upload images or videos and ask questions based on those images as well. I'll also go into different use cases, but for this study, you can see the report goes into key insights. So it summarizes these different topics, and you see 5 of them now. It can be 4, it can be 6, again, based on whatever burning question that you set. The report goes into understanding the full details and comes back to you saying that these are the important areas that you need to focus and that you need to take away. And you also get access to the actual verbatims. So what people feel.
Shutdown vardı da onu verdi. Ben onu da anlamadım ama helal olsun. Daha fazla fed yap Jace'i.
I think someone's
Kazanırız.
microphone is on. Oh, okay, perfect. But I know. So basically, at this stage, you receive the verbatims, and these are obviously the ones that are more relevant, that are more important, that are again aligned with the research objectives that you set within the research. You can download the full transcripts, and if you want to go through the full transcripts, but the system automatically does it for you and brings comes back to you with the important ones. So the use cases that we have, although it's a new product, we have over 20 clients already using in different locations, and different use cases have been sort of, it's obviously a progressing stage that we are identifying different use cases every day, but we have seen people coming in to test their advertising. So these are like early stage, could be at the stage where they work with a creative agency to come up with different creative routes, and understanding about if the message is clear, if it resonates with your audience, if the call to actions are clear. So just looking at very, very early stage ideas, and again, testing ideas in a similar format, exploring potential new product ideas and business concepts has been one of the use cases as well. Another one was market validation before obviously making any bigger decisions, or maybe follow up with a quantitative. We have seen use cases where people use it just for understanding some dynamics of the market as well. So I'll show you different features as well. We're very excited with one of the features, which is the chat with the AI report function. And if we have time, I can actually also show you the product very quickly. And we can, if you're interested, obviously follow up with a full demo. So with the chat with AI report function, you can actually directly ask questions and immediately get answers. So if you feel like, oh, there's a question that I forgot to include in the discussion guideline, you can still ask that question, and the AI moderator typically goes away, looks into the transcripts to see if it can answer the question. Typically, in a matter of seconds, again, 6-7 seconds, it comes back to you. Oh, this is what I found. Maybe you want to see differences of age and gender, and see if there are actually different reactions from different genders. So you can ask that question, and it will come back to you with the answer. So just one of the case studies that I want to mention quickly is a trade story enhancement that we did with White & Mackay, which is a Scottish whiskey company. They obviously work with distributors in different locations, and they use the tool to motivate them to demonstrate the potential of that market, and putting in the putting in the perspective of what the consumers feel and need, if there are any areas, and then sort of that they can potentially invest in. So just working with the distributors, doing the research, and getting back to them to demonstrate the actual needs of the consumers is one of the key areas that they have been using in different markets. So I'll just for a second stop sharing to see if there are any questions. If not, I can also move on to giving you a quick demo of the demo usually takes about 20 to 25 minutes. I see we only have 15 minutes left, so we don't have that much time, but I can very quickly show you how it works as well. I'm also curious to get your feedback to see if you have used anything like this before, if you have an experience working with AI-powered tools within qualitative. I think there's a question from Mike.
Yeah, there's A question in the chat, I can read it. I saw the screen that mentioned you had a closed environment, avoiding, our projects training public LLMs. Is our
Correct.
project training your LLM?
No, at the moment, no. So what we have done is, and I can quickly show you a slide on that as well. So the idea of Bullshit AI has been around for more than 2 years. We have set it up initially as a manual tool. So we have been doing research, actual projects using the tool, and obviously a lot of R&D work in the background. So we have been feeding a lot of data into the tool, but we're not feeding the data from your projects to train our LLM. As an infrastructure, we use OpenAI, and on top of it, we use a language model. And then so far we have used our own data to train it.
Thumbs up. Can you read it, or shall I read it out loud? Hello, as a qual moderator, human, I'm obviously concerned about AI moderation. What would be the circumstances where a human qual moderator is still essential or better than an AI moderation?
Great question. So first of all, we're definitely not suggesting this as a, if you feel like you need to have the focus group, if you feel like you need to have a longer in-depth conversation, typically once we do it over a Zoom call or in person, we would do it at least 45 minutes, 60 minutes kind of a format. So this is definitely not something to replace that. We're not suggesting to use it for that. Obviously, shorter conversations, we have about 20-ish questions to ask, 20, 25 minutes. And that I think chat conversation can be advantageous in terms of getting, and keep in mind the participants are anonymous. So they're not sharing any personally identifying information such as name and their email and their address. So we don't know those details. So they're a bit more genuine and honest about their approaches. So you can get more out of them. But for the emotional analysis, we wouldn't suggest using this tool. So if you want to, for certain cases, you definitely need to be in the room to see them and initiate and ignite those conversations. So this is definitely better to have an early stage agile approach, almost like we've seen instances where organizations make decisions with almost no data, but having compared to having no data, this is definitely much better than that and gives quite a lot of perspective. I hope I could answer your question.
I think so. The rest of the chat is more feedback on this. So Jess Jorgensen is saying human is understanding cultural context, and human is knowing where to probe based on the question, client need, or strategy. And I'm sure many more. By the way, all feel free to just open your video and your mic to ask questions. But no more questions in the chat, so maybe I think we have 10 more minutes. Maybe you can give a very quick glimpse of.
I'll share my screen again.
The demo.
So first of all, if I can go full screen. First of all, you have access to free trial. If you go to our website, you can see the free trial button here. That gives you access to 10 conversations, 10 participants. We have different packages, but obviously, the pricing is typically a bit different than the qualitative. We sell credits, typically starting from 100 credits, so that's 100 participants. But then if you want to use it as in one of our projects as well, you can use it as a free trial. And as you do, please reach out. We can help you, support you with the setting up with the first one. Obviously, it's still very new for all of us as well. So let me just show you one of the example projects that we have. So this is a study we did in France focusing on fintech. And the objective that I set here was to understand, analyze the financial behaviors and preferences of individuals in France. So I'll just set the location, and then let me just show you, so 10. I didn't specifically set anything other than 18 to 30 in terms of demographics. And then it came back to me with this chat guide with the conversations. So with the questions that I want to ask, so it starts from, describe your current financial situation. How are you adapting to the changing economic situation in France? Obviously, you can change these, edit these questions, or add your own question as well. And once we launched it, it came back to us with this report. So you can see on the left-hand side, there's the AI summary, goes into all the details, and then the one that I showed you just a couple of minutes ago, basically all those 5-6 different key areas. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the actual verbatims coming in. You can export the chats, you can export the report, but the interesting thing is up here, you can see there's a search box where you can type in any question that you want to ask directly. So this is something that I did. What is the top insight I should take away? And it came back to me with this answer. But as a matter of demo, I can select, one of these questions. How are different genders responding? And comes back to me saying female respondents have expressed a range of financial situations from unemployment to stable income. Some female respondents have shown a preference for traditional banks due to the influence of family decisions and the desire for human contact and in-person services. So this is interesting. I can then go look into the transcripts again or the verbatims to see if I can find more, and I can ask other questions to probe for better or more in-depth answers. And obviously this is coming only from the answers, the transcript that is already been collected. So just to set it up, you start from, again, this is how it goes. Pick the location, how many interviews you want to do. At the moment, we offer 100 for only UK and US, but we're rolling out more countries. And I can show you here. In total, we currently have, from Australia, Brazil, Canada, different locations. If you want to do any different market other than these, it usually takes us about 3-4 days to set it up and test it. So even if you want to do research, even with this free trial, if there's a country that isn't on the list, we're happy to add it very quickly. So these countries came about the actual needs from our customers so far. And then you go into selecting the size, so 10 to 100, and then go into demographic details. So I can select, children, employment status, relationship status, all those details. And within the category, we have different categories ranging from, consumer electronics to financial services, food, healthcare, home care, pet care, and many, many other details as well. So once I decide on these details, there are a lot of advanced targeting questions here that I can directly add here too. So if you're focusing on people who lease a car, I can just add it. So you can search if you want to add questions or just get an influence if there are questions or category related filtering based on the cars that you can just select and add them, or you can also type up a custom filtering question. So if you want to qualify certain answers based on the question that you want to set, you can also type them here and decide the ones that you want to qualify, and then move on to actually defining the objective again. Any questions on the setup stage or the report stage? I'm really curious to see if anyone's interested in having a full demo or like a free trial for one of the projects that you're currently working on.
I see here a question from Mike. Do we have any control over the recruitment channels you use? For example, if we want all consumer panel or no consumer panel, can we exclude specific channels like Instagram? I'm not sure, Mike, what you mean with if we want all consumer panel or no consumer panel.
We get this question a lot. So for Bullchat AI, no, you cannot have control over the channels, the system automates it. But for the other side of the business, yes. So if you want just fieldwork services for quantitative studies, for example, we have manual control of deciding which channels you want to exclude in any study.
And I was wondering myself, like, if you want to do this, how quick is the total turnaround for this? I mean,
So
if I go online now on the platform, when can I have the result?
Yeah, so the promise is once you launch it, we always come back to you in 24 hours. So you always receive the reports maximum in 24. If you do it in US, UK, like bigger markets in terms of population, sometimes it takes only 3-4 hours. Also depending on the time zone, obviously, if there are more active people during the day. So yeah, you always receive the report in 24 hours. That's the promise.
Cool. Definitely something I would like to try.
That's good to hear.
Let me
Thanks.
see
Yeah, that was
if
really
there's-
interesting. And like Diana, I'm a bit scared of it as well. But you mentioned a free trial. I think I'd be quite interested in trying, in trying this out. Should we reach out to you or just go straight to Bolt?
Whichever easier. Yeah, if you can reach out to me, happy to set it up for you right after the call.
Thank you.
I see another
I wonder if
question
you-
here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say if you have my email, I don't know that, but yeah. Hopefully Lucy can share it.
We'll circulate it with the recording.
Perfect.
Currently, you're putting the research questions to real human respondents. How long before the respondents themselves are also AI? Good
This is a
question.
really good question. And I think this part is a bit scarier than than what we're currently doing. So there's the trend around synthetic answers, right? Obviously, we haven't really gone into that area. And I agree with Diana. We would love to keep the human element, and the fact that the tool still needs us, our expertise in making these decisions and like fully deciding on the questions, what to ask, what not to, and based on the report as well, like what to interpret, what to take it away, what to present to the client. So hopefully there will always be that human element, but I feel like this is getting, giving us a lot of efficiency. So in short, I don't know, but I don't want to. I think personally, I don't want to see it.
I have seen it around already a little bit, but
Okay.
There's another question from Melly. How do consumers get involved in this platform, and how does the chat part take place? Mobile app, browser? How do consumers participate?
Yeah, so the consumers typically coming from panel environments. We work with selected panel partners, so they do the recruitment. We don't build a panel. Also, on the other side of the business, we don't have a panel. We don't build a panel. We always reach out to either our digital, social media, and mobile app networks, or to the panel providers for the based on the objective, based on the location, and typically the panel providers manage that site, and then the chat takes place in a mobile browser interface, so they don't need to download anything to their phones. I'm saying typically because sometimes they join from laptop. If that happens, obviously, if they have a desktop or laptop device. Similarly, yeah, they use a browser to access.
Any more
I think
questions?
this was it for the questions, and I think we're also perfectly on time. So thank you very much for the presentation. I think this was super interesting. I see Lucy is also back online.
Back on, sorry, I was having problems. Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Just a massive thank you to you, Babe Buzz. And I will circulate the recording alongside your email address and all your contact details. So if anybody wants to follow up with you, which I'm sure they will, they can do so easily. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for everyone for attending. Have a good afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.